Den dag kjem aldri at eg det gleimer. Foran meg søver eg om deg drøymer. Om natt og dag er du like nær.
The water's cold.
It's a fjord. You're not going swimming.
Boo. You're such a wet blanket, teddy bear.
You know I don't like it when you call me...
Edward Charles Harden, Esquire.
Will you promise to behave on land?
Don't I always?
Lissie, promise.
Oh, piffle and phonus balonus, Teddy. You ought to know better than to ask. Yes, I'll behave. I'll be a proper young lady. I shan't run or climb things or laugh too loud or call anyone old bean. Aside from you. So, do you think we'll find your Betty in, what did you call this village? Gravewick? Groovewick? Greywoke? It's an odd language. I don't much care for it.
Grovik. Yes, I do.
Why here? What's so special about Greywoke?
She never said, but knowing my sister, something drew her here.
But how can you know?
I just do. In her letter, she wrote about...
But that's months ago. She could have gone anywhere.
Without writing, or telegraphing her editor in New York, she wouldn't do that. Betty's...
Oh, the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, Little Miss Perfect.
Alice, you're talking about my sister.
Fine. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Sidarb. We all love her dearly. And Teddy Bear. Edward. We will find her. Betty's fine. Why, we'll see her as soon as we get to shore. She'll shower you with kisses and berate you for coming all this way from Hanover, Massachusetts to the middle of absolutely nowhere Scandinavia way just to chase
Norway.
her down. Everything will be Jake, old fruit. Is that it? Is that Groovewoke? It looks so peaceful and beautiful and so desolate, like a place built for ghosts.
Finally. I don't think I could do this for much longer.
Can't you row any faster? I'm getting frightfully bored.
How about you take over, Alice?
You slay me, Teddy, old bean. Was that thunder?
Still distant. The boat will be in safe harbor by the time the weather arrives.
So you say. But I say put your back into it, because we're sitting ducks out here. Quack, quack. It's so quiet. Where is everyone?
Probably working. I know it's a foreign concept to you, but that's something normal people do.
Hardy har har.
The Fretland farm is up the hill somewhere.
Up where?
I believe it's that farmhouse, all the way at the top.
Hot dog! Let's ankle!
Hold on. Let me read the letter from Mrs. Fretland first.
I'll meet you up there, old sport. I want to explore. Last one's a skunk's tail.
Be careful. The ground's muddy. You could slip and fall.
See you in 2 shakes.
Dear Mr. Harden, we would like to extend an invitation to visit our home. Troubled to hear of your sister's disappearance. No news to share. You'll find our farm on top of the hill. If I got that right. Look forward to seeing you here in October. Yours faithfully, Anna Fretland. Well, I'm here. Where are you? Did you make it to Grovik, Betty? And why did you pick this forlorn hole under the mountains? Also sprach Zarathustra.
Teddy, are you coming? I'm almost there.
On my way. Righto. Step to it, teddy bear.
Where are you, Lissie?
I'm by the farmhouse.
Where are you, Lissie?
I'm up at the farm. Are you coming?
Just taking a break.
Hurry up. Storm's getting closer. Teddy, this way. Seriously?
You're not the one carrying a suitcase.
What took you so long?
I'm not 17.
Nor are you 70. Put some spring into your step, old sport.
Did you see the flag? It's at half-mast. Someone died.
So this is it, huh? Nice digs. But seriously, where is everyone? This is starting to creep me out.
Perhaps everyone's indoors. The rain's picking up.
You first, old bean.
Hello? Anyone there? Mr. Fretland? Mrs. Fretland? This is Edward Charles Harden, the American. We've exchanged letters.
Maybe they went on holiday and left the door open. Give it a shake and a rattle.
I can't just barge into their home.
It's not a crime if you're invited.
I'm coming in. This is Mr. Harden. Hello? Is anyone home?
This house is as empty as a bird's nest in December. Hey, you want to check out the upstairs?
Certainly not. I'm going to sit down and wait for the Fretlands.
Maybe there are extra comfortable chairs upstairs. Well, I didn't want to go upstairs anyway. It's creepy.
There must be a sitting room on this floor. This is the kitchen. Hello? Anyone there?
Oh, this is nice. Charmingly rustic. The Boston Beaumont would pay a pretty penny for this setup. I thought foreigners lived differently. This is almost like an American home.
People are people wherever you go.
Thanks, Proust. Look! Family pictures. They must be the, what did you call them? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Our hosts,
No, silly, they're names.
Johann and Anna Fretland.
This is honestly not what I'd pictured. They're very presentable. Not at all like turnip farmers.
They're not turnip farmers. That must be Johann Fretland, master of the house.
What makes you think he's the master of anything? It's 1923, Teddy, old boy. Women can vote.
Betty might be with the Fretlands, wherever they are.
Wouldn't Anna Fretland have written you?
She might have. We left Hanover a month ago.
Old Johann's a bit wooden, isn't he? Like someone put a stick
They're
up his...
posing for a
up his
photograph.
rear end. I say, loosen up, Johann! I'm sure you two stiffs will get along famously. I'm guessing their daughter is the master of this house. She's cute as a button. I can't wait to meet her. She's guaranteed to be more fun than you. Johann went and found himself a delectable bride.
Alice, please.
What can I say? She's a minx.
Anna Fretland is a respectable woman. Her letter was courteous and professional.
Didn't you say she was a city girl? It must have been awfully hard to adjust to life in the sticks. I can relate.
Hanover isn't the sticks.
Says you.
Dear Mrs. Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. I wrote to inform them about when I'd be arriving. So where are they?
Do they even have calendars? Maybe they don't know what day it is.
Despite appearances, we haven't gone back in time. They have calendars. I asked about Elizabeth.
And they hadn't seen her?
Mrs. Fretland promised she'd write if she heard anything. There wouldn't be many female reporters from New York and Western Norway.
Why would she come here in the first place?
Betty always has her reasons. Home feels very far away.
Are we feeling melancholy again?
I've never been this far from Hanover.
It's about time we got you out of that dreary old house, Teddy Bear.
The thought of boarding that infernal ocean liner again.
I quite enjoyed it. So much room for exploration and mischief.
So many opportunities for seasickness and claustrophobia.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm sure your tummy will be better behaved on the return voyage. And you'll be craving enclosed spaces after a week in this wide-open wilderness. Where do you think they've gone?
The Fretlands.
The Fretlands, the Hansons, the Jensens, all of them.
I'm sure they'll be back soon.
It's like a dead land. As though its soul has departed.
There's the Stave Church.
Do you think that's where they've all gone? Maybe there's a very popular funeral.
The flag was at half-mast, but no sign of life out there.
Did you hear something?
No.
Must be the wind under the door. Or the churning sea. Or the interminable rain. Or flesh-eating ghouls waiting to pounce.
Alice, honestly.
You're the one who reads Poe to me. Don't blame me for having an active imagination.
It's really coming down.
How about a quick run in the rain?
You can't be serious.
You're already a wet blanket, Teddy Bear. It's not like you'll get any wetter.
You can see the whole village from up here.
Do you want to go sightseeing?
Tomorrow. It's getting late, and the rain's not abating.
Wait, is that... Are they... Who's... They're all twins. All of them.
That's Johann and Anna Fretland.
There are two of each, Edward. Two of each.
Frederick and Margaret. Twins marrying twins.
My mind's reeling. This is just too adorable.
May 26th, 1899. They'll be celebrating their silver anniversary next year. The books are all in English.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Mrs. Fretland is Scottish, though she grew up in Ålesund.
Have you been secretly communicating with Johann's winsome wife, Edward, dearest?
Certainly not. She was the one who wrote me, because Mr. Fretland's English
I was
isn't as...
only joking. Lighten up, old sport. Don't be such a pill. What are you looking at there?
A book.
Strange place for a book. Unless it was a terrible book that deserved a good burning. What's the title?
The cover's charred. Christmas 1922. To Ruth. From Simon. Why would someone burn this?
Like I said, maybe it was a terrible book. Is Simon one of the Fretlanders?
I don't think so. They only have the one daughter. The flag outside was flying at half-mast.
What does that mean?
Someone died.
Well, those boys look proud as peacocks. What does it say there? Groovy?
Gruben. The mine.
Maybe that's where everyone is. Digging for precious jewels in the Stygian abyss.
From what I learned of this place during the brief stay in Ålesund, the iron mine shut down 20 years ago. Frederick and Johann Fretland, founders of the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
They're the spitting image of each other.
Twin brothers and business partners.
And they married twin sisters. Adorable. Who's the boy? He looks related to the other two.
The mine was only in operation until 1902. They must have lost a fortune. An iron mine wouldn't pay itself off in 5 years.
Can we go spelunking? Perhaps we'll find trolls in the abyss, and we can steal their ill-gotten gold.
There was a cave-in. It'll be unsafe.
Oh, boo.
Johann Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johann sold his share to focus on farming.
Well, that must have put a damper on their relationship.
Tragic accident befalls the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
What happened?
The mine collapsed, killing 3 workers, including Arne Fretland, Frederick and Johann's younger brother.
That's awful. How old was he?
19.
He might be the boy in the photograph.
Operations were suspended after the accident. Foreign investors out of Frederick Fretland's mining company. Dire financial consequences for Fretland, who must have had a difficult time after his brother Johann Fretland pulled out earlier this year.
Johann was smart to exit when he did.
The timing is curious, like he knew something was about to go awry.
Oof, that's a grim sight, old bean.
I'm exhausted and soaked to the bone.
Let's get you to bed.
We'll wait for the Fretlands. It's only courteous.
Betty.
Have you gone screwy again, Teddy? That's not Betty. That's...
Scarf. I'd know it anywhere.
It doesn't look like anything to me. It
She
just
bought it
looks
in
like...
Bloomingdale's the Christmas before last. When she came home that year, she showed it off, dancing around the sitting room until I got dizzy watching her.
I think you're misremembering. She couldn't make it home that year. Again.
No, you're wrong. I'm sure she was there.
Whatever. It's not like you pay any attention to me when Betty's around. I might just as well be a ghost.
Look, it is her scarf. It even smells like her perfume. Shalimar.
But what if that's not...
She's here. I'm finally going to find her.
That's great, Edward, really. I wouldn't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, where's everyone gone to? Something's not right, I'm telling you. Teddy? Edward, what's wrong?
Lightheaded, that's all.
You're having another spell. You know what happens when you exert yourself. Sit down. That's an order from your commander.
Yes. Fine. I just need to catch my breath. Just for a moment.
I want you to lie down. Lie down and close your eyes. It's been a strenuous day. What with the rowing and the dragging of the suitcase up the hill.
Well, what if the Fretland...
I'll keep an eye out. I promise. If they come home, I'll wake you. Now, lie down, close your eyes, breathe deeply.
I'm just going to...
Shh.
Elizabeth? Is that you? Betty? Lissie? Lissie, are you here? Lissie! Hello? Hey, who's there? Betty? Elizabeth? Wait! Lissie, there's someone outside. It might be Betty. Are you here, Lissie? Who's out there? Hello? Betty? Lissie? I'm not alone. I can hear you! Betty? Who goes there? Wait! Alice! Someone there? Alice, where are you? Hello? Betty, is that... Are you there, Betty? Shit. Elizabeth, are you there?
The boat, Edward! Where's our boat?
Lissie! Where did you go? Why did you leave me?
It stopped raining, and you were sleeping, and... Our boat, it's gone.
The boat... What? How?
Maybe you didn't secure it properly.
I pulled it up. I don't know. I thought I tied it securely, but... Did you see Betty?
Did I see... What are you talking about?
I think... Betty... It was Betty, It was her. It must have been her. I saw her face in the window, and she vanished into the dark, towards the sea. You really didn't see anyone?
I haven't seen a single soul. Are you sure it was her and
Yes.
not...
I mean, I saw her face, and it looked like her.
If it was her, why did she run away?
I don't know. It's getting dark. Back to the house. And tomorrow...
Tomorrow's another day, Teddy Bear. We'll figure it out. Right now, let's get you cleaned up. Look at you. You've got mud all over yourself. And then you really need to sleep. You must be exhausted. Come on.
I will find you again. Where are you, Lissie?
This way. Teddy, come outside. It's a beautiful day.
I just about given up on you ever waking up. Sleep well?
I dreamed of Betty. She was in the garden, and she called for me.
How about you, Lissie dearest? Oh, you know me, old fruit, wide awake at first light.
The Fretlands didn't come home, did they?
They did not. There's no sign of anyone. Aside from last night's Mistwalker.
I've been thinking about that.
What?
It looked like Betty. I was so sure. She wouldn't have run away. It makes no sense. Perhaps it was no one. Just the night playing tricks.
Well, there must be someone here. And I'm not talking about ghosts. Or goats. What was it you said yesterday? Maybe they're peeking at us through the windows.
I'll take a gander. The Fretlands will be home soon. And Betty's here. I know it. I feel it.
If you say so, Teddy Bear. Have you had your noodle juice yet?
I'm not rummaging through their cupboards.
You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need to get you sorted.
I'm not hungry. First point on the agenda. Find the natives.
A mission! Hot dog! I'll scout ahead. I'll meet you down by those houses.
Let's uncover your secrets, Grovik.
Up here, Teddy. It's such a beautiful day. You could bottle and sell this air in Boston. It's frankly medicinal.
Careful you don't fall.
You suck the fun out of everything, old boy.
We're far from any doctor. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
That's not very likely, is it?
I thought you were scouting ahead.
What do you think I'm doing? Vantage point, like on a pirate ship. I can probably see our house in Hanover from here.
Did you check those buildings?
Knocking on doors isn't a scout's job, old bean.
There must be someone around.
Only one way to find out, old sport. Did you check all the houses?
Hello? Anyone here?
Why, hello, Mr. American. Please come in for a cup of tea and biscuits.
You're not helping. Also, they drink coffee here, not tea.
Savages. No one home?
There must be someone around.
Only one way to find out, old sport.
Hello? Who's there? Hello? Anyone home? September 21st, 1923. Vi desperate. Lissie, found something here. Escalated from words to stones. Blood has been spilled. The curse haunts us all. There is no hope left in... Good Sforlata. Good. God. Right. In this God-forsaken place. The death of the... Jiminy. Death of the children was the end of Grovik. Whatever remained of our souls departed with them. You should see this, Lissie. The letter just trails off. It was never sent. Did you see this door closing?
It was just the wind, teddy bear. You're as skittish as a pussycat. There's one more house. Third time's the charm.
Anyone home?
Unless they're playing hide and go seek, I'd say that's a no. Three strikes, you're out.
I don't think anyone's been home for a while. Someone painted the word traitor on one of the doors. And there was a letter. It sounded foreboding.
Well, you were wrong. The villagers are not indoors.
I saw some sheds down by the water. There's the general store, the church.
In other words, time for some sightseeing? Well, it's a bright and beautiful day, and we have nothing better to do.
What on earth are you doing?
Handstands, Teddy! My record is 2 minutes. I'm working on 3. Just go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Betty would have taken plenty of constitutionals here. She loves the outdoors.
How so? She's a city girl.
I'm sure she gets tired of Manhattan. And when she was little, she loved playing in the garden back in Hanover, especially around the pond.
Are you alright?
I just miss her. You'd have thought someone would have seen us by now.
Even if they were all hiding indoors. Maybe there was a spell or curse that made them all invisible.
Honestly, Lissie.
Or maybe we are the invisible ones. But then we would see them, wouldn't we? No, I think my original thesis is more likely.
The villagers turning invisible is the more likely thesis.
Do try to keep an open mind, Edward, darling.
The weather's favorable today.
I did a little dance last night, appeasing the weather gods. Thor, in particular, was mightily impressed.
Was he?
Promised to back off with the thunder and lightning for a spell. And don't you know, he proposed to me. But I told him I'm not into gods. I prefer jazz musicians.
It's quite peaceful.
If no one was around, I'd strip naked. The earth would delight in my bare feet. The wind would savor playing with my hair.
Is that so?
I don't know, I just like being naked. But not when you're around, teddy bear.
What are you up to?
Delighting in the little things. They're like dew. My heart is the morning, and it's refreshed by their presence.
Where do these strange thoughts come from?
Oh, you're a funny egg, old bean.
What are you doing?
Looking for a white rabbit in a waistcoat. Have you seen him?
A white...
We'll follow him down the hole, Teddy. Or maybe we already did.
Alice in Wonderland, I see.
So wonderfully apt.
Have you seen anyone?
Not a single soul, alive or dead. How about we don't go back to Hanover and stay here instead?
And how would I survive?
Hunt? Harvest? Forage? People have survived here for centuries. Why can't we?
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I could learn. I'd start with goats. Goats can be eaten and milked. Probably not in that order.
There's no damage to the rope.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody cut it. I guess the knot could have unraveled on its own.
Didn't you say you used a sailor's knot?
I'm a scholar, not a fisherman.
So who took our boat? A ghost? If not a ghost, then a goat? The goat's row?
There must be a logical explanation. It's safe to say no ghost in the night stole our boat.
If you say so. But then who were you chasing after last night? Well, you thought it was Betty,
No.
but...
No, I don't know. It was probably all in my head. Perhaps living here wouldn't be such a bad thing.
You changed your mind about the goats?
The fresh air might do me good.
And you'd be all right with it just being the two of us.
I'm no stranger to isolation.
Truer words have never been spoken, old friend. Teddy! Hot dog! This is our ticket out of here!
Not without Betty.
What's this?
Remnants of the mining operation.
What, mine?
Remember, I told you yesterday. There was a mine here, but it closed down 20 years ago.
I know, Edward. I was just checking for a sense of humor. Still nowhere to be found. I don't understand why they just leave this here. Like an altar to adversity. It's creepy.
Rustic superstition. Perhaps they believed they'd attract bad luck if they moved it. Lissie?
I'm right here.
Til minne om. It's a memorial. 3 men died when the mine collapsed in 1902. Georg Hatlestad, Niels Frambu, Arne Fretland.
See, this is what working a regular job. Did you say Fretland?
The younger brother who was mentioned in the article. The newspaper said the accident forced the mine to shut down.
What does any of this have to do with us?
I still don't know why Elizabeth came here.
And you think it has something to do with this mine?
Or with what it did to the village. Maybe.
Where do these tracks lead?
To the mine. Where else would they go?
I don't know. A castle up in the mountains where the frost giants live? And this is how they receive their monthly offering of meat from the villagers. Goat, I hope.
No trespassing for traitors.
Cool. Want to jump the gate and explore what's on the other side? What do you say, old sport?
It's not safe.
Oh, horse feathers! You may be the most boring man in this country. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, Teddy Bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
Frederick Fretland and son.
Johann's brother and nephew.
The Fretlands have their fingers in all the pies, including the only store in town.
Also the post office and telegraph. There may be something that'll lead us to Betty in there.
Or at least to some canned sardines. We need to get you fed, old bean.
Fretland and Son.
How do you figure?
It's on the sign above the entrance. And on this photograph. Frederick and Simon Fretland. The older gentleman is clearly Mr. Fretland's twin brother.
Twins are confusing. If this was a dime novel, they'd be switching places at some point to confuse the coppers. Damn you, twins!
Simon Fretland. Frederick's son.
And Johann's nephew. See, I'm getting the hang of this. Simon. That was the name in the burnt book. So Simon is Ruth's older cousin. any doors. I can't imagine they have a problem with punks and hoodlums.
The sign says they're closed, but I thought maybe... Hello? Are you open? Is anyone there?
Can't you just bust down the door? Locks be damned.
Breaking and entering, I will not. I'll just dislocate my shoulder. They had a memorial service for the accident in the mine on July 24th in the village church.
For something that happened 20 years ago?
It still affected their lives. The telegraph is out of order.
Well, there goes my plan. NOSOS.
This was 2 years ago, but the notice is still up.
How can it take 2 years to get something like that fixed?
If they couldn't afford it? Or couldn't get anyone to come fix it?
Well, this place really is off the map. Here be dragons. Or Draugans, I guess.
The ferry route is no longer operating.
Rats!
Mrs. Fretland already informed me in her letter.
I know. Still warrants a resounding rats.
I wonder why it stopped running.
Look around. How many people live here? 20? 30? That can't be enough for a ferry route.
Things got quieter after the mine closed down.
They need to move on and find something else to put their village on the map. Tobacco farming, maybe.
Is that? Lissie, come here. It's Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm
I
not
know
sure
my sister's hat, Lissie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it. Here's an open window.
You seem eager to break the law. I approve.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
I can't believe I'm actually breaking... Whoops, Daisy.
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap.
Edward Charles Harden.
Dilettante, world traveler, cat burglar.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty.
Edward,
I hope you weren't here when...
is this... blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, that's all right then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
Barn means child. And mortar, that's...
Child murder. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so.
Probably the same someone who vandalized the store.
I'm not sure how I feel about being in here.
Don't be ridiculous. We're all alone. What else do you suggest we do?
Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down, old boy. Anyway, how's a hat going to help us?
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
All right. Okay. Everything's Jake. We made it into the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
It's the same photograph as in the farmhouse.
Johan's gone. At least, I assume he's the one who's been... snip.
Frederick clearly did not want anything to do with his twin brother. Why would Frederick keep a list of what he calls traitors?
What did they do to him?
Cross him in some way. Why else keep a list of undesirables? Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore.
S-O-S. Oh boy. If only this thing worked. We could order a boat to come get us. Or, even better, order some hot grub.
These were never sent.
How long have they been piling up?
I received Mrs. Fretland's letter in June, and they received my letter from July.
A couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Grovik.
The key must be here.
You know, you're better at finding things than me, Teddy Bear. What are you doing?
Looking for keys.
Your life of crime continues.
The keys are all gone.
Some thieving thieves beat you to it. Rascals.
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon. Yai put it means I put. Knuckle is key. Casa. I don't know what that word means.
He put the key in the casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved. But where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge. Casa.
So that's what it means. Cash register. You're a genuine gangster now, old fruit. Don't worry. If you get busted, I'll come visit you in the big house. The Vandals weren't here for the money.
I think money was the last thing on their minds.
Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is. It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not sure
Betty
that's...
was here, and not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rocks below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissie, wait. Alice!
Over here, Teddy. This way. Teddy, up here. I found it, Teddy.
The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute. Come on, it's an easy climb.
This looks very dangerous.
Oh, you're a big boy. Start acting like it. It's not Mount Everest.
I don't know about this. Whoops-a-daisy. What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl
Edward.
got herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours, with only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
It's a long fall. Far enough to crush the girl's skull.
Edward Charles Harden.
What?
Oh, you're hopeless.
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside? It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Or maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong on a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh? Did you follow the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness? Are you here, Lissie?
Yes? You can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean? Can you see where she fell? Seeing as you're so concerned about me falling out of trees, I wouldn't want to risk falling off a cliff.
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there. Where are you?
Right here.
Lissie? Slow down. I can't keep up with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissie? Are you there?
Teddy,
My word. Look away, Lissie.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
This is just ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been...
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on temperature and humidity, of course.
What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself? Sorry. Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran,
No.
and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh,
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty. What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far. I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened? Penny for your thought.
Perhaps she fell by accident.
So you don't think it was murder?
It's difficult to say with any certainty. The boy could have pushed her.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
I really thought I'd find Betty today.
Well, I told you not to get your hopes up, Edward. I mean, we just got here. It's a big place. She could be anywhere.
It's just the thought of her alone out there. In the dark.
She's a tough cookie. You're Betty. Tougher than you, teddy bear.
That she is.
What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes, and it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it. Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things. Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's no such thing as a soul.
life force, ghost, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you.
I almost forgot putting this aside when I lit the fire. Wasn't there an inscription inside?
Simon. Simon gave that book to Ruth. But who burned it?
Johann or Anna, if they believed Simon killed her.
But they were friendly, right? Simon and Ruth. Before...
I imagine so. And we know the sisters were close.
I still don't understand why the brothers had a falling out.
Whatever drove a wedge between them, it was big. The two brothers married twin sisters, Anna and Margaret Taylor. That's the Grovik stave church behind them.
All those hopes and dreams, ground to dust by misfortune. The mine must have been a big deal for Greywoke.
Grovik. An opportunity to do more than live hand to mouth.
What a blow it must have been to lose it all. It's the same photograph we saw in the store.
Except this one's whole.
So the brother who owns the store
Frederick.
was angry with Johann before Ruth. Because
Because of the mine. It all comes back to the mine. Johann and Frederick Fretland. Thick as thieves, before things took a turn.
don't you always say that much of our pain is self-chosen?
I wonder about that. These headlines make more sense now. Johann sells his share, and the cave-in occurs shortly thereafter, killing 3 people.
Including the younger brother.
The investor pulls out, leaving Frederick with the bills.
Oh, I feel awful for everyone. Losing a brother, losing the business.
There were no happy endings here.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy.
Not now, please. I'm exhausted.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Where are you, Lissie?
I'm upstairs. Teddy? Is that you?
Where are you, Lissie?
In the bedroom.
This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then... nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic. I'll help you look. There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes. Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet, she was 8. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle, Simon and his father on the other.
The community divided.
That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear. She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
something important enough to draw.
What am I looking for?
Anything out of the ordinary. Something that could explain what happened to Ruth.
This is real life, not a whodunit by Agatha Christie. There won't be a convenient series of clues leading to a tidy conclusion.
Says you.
Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the Black Seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester. But instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you. She made her bed that morning, before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth? Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out. What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. They belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin. On the doll.
This is where it came from, her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a grave site. Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
She didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic events.
This is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
The church bell. Someone's here. Maybe... Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We should be careful.
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to think about all of this.
Lissie?
I'm up at the farm.
24th, memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
All these fresh graves. Do you think that maybe
No.
Betty...
I'd know.
But
You wouldn't understand. Elizabeth and I, we have a bond.
God, Edward, your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
Why board up a church?
To keep the ghosts from escaping?
Regardless of how they got past the boards, there's someone in there.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Hello? I heard the bell.
This is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet.
Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister, Elizabeth.
Stop shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are no ghosts.
I don't know about that. What's this rope for?
The bell.
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see anyone, right?
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you, it's ghosts. So what happened to the Hunchback of Grovik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was the wind.
A church bell's too heavy. It can't have been the wind. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. There's no one here.
I don't like that sound. Please stop. Stop it.
Lissie. Look. Betty's gloves. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She got
Pete's
these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day she... She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make sense.
Breadcrumbs. She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves. Her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a labyrinth.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty, you're turning into such a pill. What happened here?
The sign on the door. God is not here. Their faith was challenged, and it didn't survive.
Isn't this a fire hazard?
They're not always lit. Each candle represents a single prayer.
That's a lot of prayers.
There were a lot of deaths. That bell still bothers me.
Didn't you say it was the wind?
I guess it could have been the wind.
Once you eliminate the impossible, etc., etc. What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Tilly Verandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly, but I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune. What are you doing? We're in a church.
I thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility. What a terrible mess.
First the store, then this. What was wrong with these people?
They were angry and afraid.
The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens, like you.
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it. This was an act of desperation and anger.
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous.
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
Heretic. I've never seen you read the Bible before.
I've read the Bible many times. It's an important historical document. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Old English?
I happen to know the verse by heart.
You still manage to surprise me sometimes.
The church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And, Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead...
Her name would be in the book.
Vandals. Tore it to pieces.
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look. How many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here. I know. Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. wanted you to find that one. I know what a rotten loser you are. Found another one. You get it. It's right here. Just one more page missing. We need to find all the pages. Two for two. A tie. Good job, Teddy. Old
Stop,
bean.
Lissie. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Biddy, biddy, biddy. Will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those pages back in the book, and I'll stop trying to cheer you up.
This book goes back years. It lists births and deaths. Here's the third Fretland brother. The one who died in a cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
Look here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. Fredder.
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
Final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's...
she's not dead. She can't be. I'd know. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me! Edward!
You better not. Where is it? I don't see it. They all look the same. This one. It's unmarked.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
Thank God. It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. if Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her. When are you going to do something useful with what's left of it?
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
Lissie? Alice? Come back. Don't leave me alone. Please. Come back. I need you. Lissie? Where are you? Lissie! I was afraid you'd left me. Now listen to me. No! Alice? Lissie. Alice, please. Hey. Lissie, please listen to me. I didn't mean what I said.
Of course you meant it. Everything's always about Betty. Betty, Betty.
I care about you both.
Until it really matters. Then it's obvious who matters more.
I thought she was dead.
I wish she was!
Don't.
You deserve to be alone.
Please, talk to me.
What's there to talk about?
You can't keep running away from me.
You think you own me? That you control me? That you get to decide how I feel and what I do every minute of every day? That I'm your puppet, your little plaything? Well, fuck you, Edward Charles Harden! I never should have come here with you on this pointless chase!
Now, be reasonable. Lissie? Alice? No! What are you doing?
What I should have done years ago. Maybe now you'll learn to appreciate us.
Now listen to me. Please, listen. Hear me out. Don't do this. You can't do this to me. I need you. I'm not whole without you. I can't lose you. I can't live without you. Don't, please, don't, no. What? No! Oh, Alice. What have you done? Please, be all right. Please don't.
You make me sick, Edward. Your mother and father would be ashamed. Elizabeth would be ashamed. They did not think you deserved their love, so they abandoned you.
Don't.
Oh, my child. We are all that you have, and we love you. We are here. With us, you are never alone. Do not forget.
No, Never. Never. I never forget. I am never alone.
Wake up, Edward. Stop hiding. Where you go, we go, Edward. You cannot hide from us.
Where's Lissie?
Alice is not here.
Bring her back. Please. I need her.
Alice does not love Elizabeth like you do.
She loves me.
Not like I do, Edward.
I'm so tired. Please.
What do you want?
I think of you so often. You have no idea.
You just want me to forgive you so that we can keep looking for your precious, perfect Betty.
She needs us.
She never needed you, Teddy Bear. And she certainly doesn't need us.
I can't find her on my own.
Well, it's just too bad, my darling Edward. Because we're done playing second fiddle to little sis.
Wait, don't go. I'm talking to you, Lissie. Oh. Lissie? Lissie! Lissie? Please. Listen, you can't keep vanishing on me.
Try me.
Why are you so angry?
You do not know anger, Edward.
Did you ever meet my father?
Alice does not want to speak with you.
Then what about you? Are you going to help me?
God helps those who help themselves.
I don't need God's help. I need Lissie.
Do you, though? Did you ever?
What? Of course, Lissie, get back here. Alice, don't go. Hear me out. I depend on you both.
You can never depend on other people, Edward.
I'm not sure you count as other people.
Everyone leaves, one way or another.
You don't. You can't.
Is that a challenge?
Stop playing games.
Are you ordering me, Teddy Bear?
I'm asking you.
Didn't your father always tell you to stand up for yourself? To be a real man and not a sissy? Maybe that's why he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Kaboom! He was so disappointed about what his only son had turned into.
You're a monster.
Takes one to know one. Old fruit.
Alice? Please. Don't vanish on me. gave you this jacket. Betty, you were here.
Lissie, I'm tired of chasing you. Alice, be reasonable. I'm trying to talk to you. Lissie, look. Her jacket. I'm sure it wasn't here yesterday, which
Jesus
means
Christ,
Betty was
Teddy.
here. Perhaps when we were out yesterday. She
Betty,
must have...
Betty.
You love Betty more than you love us. But don't you see? What has Betty done that we haven't? What can she do that we cannot? We've always been there for you. Why do you keep looking for her?
She's real. You're not.
So?
What? You decide what is real. We are real to you.
It will never be the same.
She does not want you.
Who are you talking to?
Why do you think Betty left? She was sick and tired of us. She wanted to escape.
Like mother.
Drowning herself because she couldn't stand being around us.
Like father.
Bang! Right in the coconut.
Stop.
You drive them all away, Edward. All into death.
Please.
But not us. We're always here for you.
I beg you.
You are never alone.
Stop! Leave me alone, both of you!
You want to be alone?
You really want to be alone?
Fine. Be alone.
Good.
Lissie. Come back. Please. Don't leave me. Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you? Are you upstairs? Betty, I'm coming. Betty? Betty! Are you in there? Open the door! I'm coming in! Stand away from the door! Betty? No! No, 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 no! Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
thought it was you, Betty. But who?
Anna. It's from Johann, addressed to his wife. Did you notice the handwriting, Betty? He was clearly distraught. Knock ere knock. Enough is enough. After decades of strife, I pray that God will... Tilly, forgive me. I am tired of secrets. For 20 years I have kept my silence about our discovery, but my silence has only led to misfortune, and my cowardice has only led to death. I will make Frederick pay for what he has done to us, for what they have done to our Ruth. When it is over, I will let the ocean take me to you and Ruth. May God forgive me. Anna was already dead when he wrote this. He had no one else to confess to. What now, Betty? Johann went to confront his brother, probably at Frederick's farm. And then? You said this was a gift from another unlucky suitor. It was precious to you. You wouldn't have left it here unless... a signpost. A breadcrumb. You followed Johann to Frederick Fretland's farm, and then to the mine. You wouldn't let this go, Betty. You'd follow your story to the end. All the way to the end. So where is Frederick's farm? The gate. Frederick's warning. The path leads to his farm. Did you follow the tracks to the mine? What led you to this place? All these fragments. You would piece them together into a story, wouldn't you, Betty? So, what do we know? Johann and Frederick are partners, and on good terms. But something happens in the mine. Disagreements lead to a falling out. And at the end of it all, 20 years later, Johann walks this path to confront Frederick. Was this your doing, Johann? Did you burn your brother's farm to the ground? And where were you, Betty? Did you witness their fall? What do you reckon, Betty? Simon's grave. Born December 5th, 1909, died September 17th, 1923. The safe. Frederick would choose numbers that meant something to him. Why bury Simon here and not at the cemetery? His wife's grave is also here. Perhaps Frederick wanted nothing to do with the church or with their God. I could really use your imagination, Betty. You'd figure this out in no time. Let's try Simon's birthday. Another Viking artifact, Betty. Most likely from the same treasure Ruth found. Postmarked in Boston. That's a curious coincidence. Dear Frederick, I hope this letter, it's in English, Betty. Hope this letter finds you and the boy in good health. We're concerned about you both. No word from you for almost 2 years now. All of us still heartbroken about Margaret's passing. We know things have been difficult for you and Simon. Mr. Fretland, we expect you to take care of this problem. If the discovery is made public, the authorities will intervene and the mine will be shut down. Should this happen, we will consider it a breach of our contract, and we will withdraw our investment. You and your brother will be responsible for all debts and losses. Johann must be convinced to wall up the chamber. We have already dealt with the worker who made the discovery. The Fretland Mining Company. I wonder what this unlocks. You went to the mine. I hope our guardian angel watched over you. All right, Betty. So what happens next in your story? Johann and Frederick discover something in the mine. cave or chamber of archaeological value. They argue about what to do. If the discovery is made public, it's the end of their enterprise. Johann is convinced, or paid, to walk away. Their secret stays hidden. Then, a few months later, the accident. 3 men die. The investors pull out. The mine shuts down. Frederick's up to his neck in debt. Cursed mine in Grovik. Locals struggle with bad crops and livestock deaths and blame it on... They thought they were cursed because of the mine. A thing like that becomes self-fulfilling. If you believe you're cursed, every misfortune feeds the delusion. So, 20 years pass. The Fretland feud tears the village apart, setting neighbor against neighbor. And then, Ruth stumbles across the secret in the mine. After all this time, the truth may finally come to light, but she dies. And the day after, Simon is murdered. It's a catalyst. Old grievances resurface. No matter who you stand with, you're a traitor. Things escalate. More people die. From disease, despair, suicides, murder. Because of the mine. Because of what they found there. And what they covered up. There was no one to stop it, Betty. They were alone. That's the real curse of Grovik. Isolation. This place is cursed. Ridiculous. Ruth was here, the day she fell. Ruth was here, but there was someone else, and she ran, all the way to the cliff where... Do you know what happened, Betty? Did you witness it?
Hello? Betty, are you in there? Please answer me.
Betty, this is Mother's brooch. You always wore this. You wouldn't take it off unless... You left it here for a reason. What am I not seeing? Betty? Elizabeth? Is that you?
Edward? Where are you?
I'm on my way, Betty. Wait for me.
Edward!
Stay where you are. I'm coming.
Edward! Where are you?
I'm on my way.
Edward, please! Hurry!
I'm coming, Betty.
Edward!
I'm almost there.
Edward!
Just stay put. I'm here, Betty. It's Edward. It's me.
Edward! Oh, Edward! Hurry!
I'm coming.
Edward, is that you? I'm in here.
Thank God. Thank God.
Elizabeth, there you are. Finally. You have no idea how long I've been looking for you. You had me so worried. I... Look. Your brooch. Mother's brooch. You must have lost it at the mine. Let me put it on for you, Betty. I wouldn't want you to lose it again.
She's been dead for 30 years, Edward. Elizabeth was never here. But we didn't come for her. We came for Johann, and Anna, and Frederick, and Simon, and Ruth. We're here to tell their stories.
No. Elizabeth. She's here.
You know Betty died when she was a baby. She drowned in the pond. And you found her. You were just 11. You carried her to your mother. And your mother...
She hated you for that.
She could never forgive you for bringing her baby to her. And you could never forgive yourself for what she did after. You always forget this. Because you don't want to be alone. So you bring Betty back. Again and again. To New York. To Boston. To the house. But always just out of reach. Never quite there. The scent of her. The echo of her. But never really her. And all it does is make you lonelier. But the thing is, Edward, you're never alone.
You have us.
And you'll always have us. Betty's... She was never there for you. She couldn't be. You can't lose us. We're a part of you.
Forever. And ever. And ever.
But you need to let Betty go now. There's not room for all of us in there.
I couldn't save you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry. It is as painful to wake from a vision as it is to be born anew. Goodbye, Betty. Alice.
Yes?
Teddy bear? Are you up? Come outside. It's a beautiful day.
Had your noodle juice yet?
I might be weaned off the stuff.
Boo. Don't lose your taste for tea, old fruit. It keeps you human. We have unfinished business.
We do?
The final piece of the puzzle.
Ruth.
Come on. Let's go back to where it started. We have an appointment with a ghost. Such an amazing view, isn't it? And the air. Ugh. Boy, that sure is something.
What did you want to show me?
Why did we come here, Teddy?
To Grovik? Well... to find my sister.
But Betty's not. She was never here. It doesn't make sense.
Some places have gravity.
What are you saying? Gravewick's gravity pulled us across the Atlantic Ocean?
Grovik? No, I'm not saying that. That's irrational.
But you believe it, don't you? That we were summoned to tell their story.
The letter to Frederick.
The one you found in his safe. From Boston.
I may have overheard a conversation somewhere, paid it no attention, but the name stuck. And Betty... And I spun a story around it that put us on this path.
Do you really believe that? I mean, how often are you around people?
I'm a man of science. I don't know what to believe.
And yet, here we are. All three of us.
Is this what you wanted to show me?
I wanted to be close to her. Do you believe in ghosts, Edward?
You know I don't.
Well, you've been chasing one for years.
That's different.
What about me? Us.
You're not ghosts, you're alive.
Fair enough. So what really happened to Ruth?
I believe it was an accident.
How? What happened?
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, she ran from the mine and came here. And then... Was she afraid? What made her run?
She could have been playing. Maybe it was slippery.
Just rotten luck? That's all it was? If only Ruth had wings, like an angel. She could have flown straight to heaven. I hope she's at peace. And with God. Do you think that's where everyone's gone?
They're dead. I don't believe there's anything more to it than that. But there's comfort in oblivion, and we won't be alone. We'll never know what happened to everyone in Grovik.
We tried our best. We'll remember them. All of them. Maybe that will give them some peace in oblivion. Could this be your book, Edward? The one you've been wanting to write? A story about people who are isolated, left behind by the world. You can give them all a proper ending, with no annoying loose threads. Edward, is that...
Our boat? But how?
Who cares? Let's catch it before it sets out on another adventure.
I don't understand how this can be.
Draugen got tired of sailing around in it and brought it back to us.
It must have been the wind.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, teddy bear. Let's blouse, while the weather's still good.
I need my suitcase.
So get a wiggle on, old boy. I'm going to say my goodbyes to all the things. I don't think we'll be back. Meet you at the house.
My goodness. Righty-ho. No rush. We have all day. What a beautiful day.
Come on, Teddy. Pack your things. I'll meet you by the boat.
Do you never sit still?
Don't be a wet blanket. Let's make like the wind and get out of here. on! Let's go! Row, Teddy, row! The water's still cold.
It's a fjord, Lissie, and it's almost winter.
There'll be snow when we get back to Hanover.
The house will be warm.
Are we going to be all right, Edward?
I think so.